Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Science Plus Life. Today we are going to study about another important lesson in our grade level science syllabus, which is temperature. It comes under the unit 9 heat. Do you know what is temperature? And what is the instrument used to measure temperature? And also who are the scientists who contributed for developing those instruments? And do you know what is the international unit of measuring temperature? Right, please watch this video. If you watch this video continuously, at the end of this lesson, all the concepts will be super clear to you. Recall these instances. I'm going to pour some warm water onto this cup, and then I'm going to pour some cold water to the another cup. I have already placed some ice crystals on this cup. Now I'm going to touch these three setups separately. First of all, I'm going to touch the normal water. I can experience the coldness. Now I'm going to touch the ice cubes. Oh, it's very cool. I can experience it is cooler than the normal water. Now I'm going to touch warm water. When touching, I can experience the warmness of the warm water is very high than these two other ice crystals and cold water. What is the physical quantity that describes each of the above instances? Do you know? That is the temperature. So, temperature can be specified as the fundamental property of any material object. As you see, the temperature of ice cube is very low, but the temperature of warm water is higher than the temperature of cold water. That is because of the fundamental property temperature. Now let's try to define the term temperature. How can we define the term temperature? Do you know? The temperature can be defined as the mean kinetic energy possessed by particles that form a certain object. Our body too has a temperature. Therefore, we can say whether the temperature of a certain object is higher than or lower than the temperature of our body by touching it. But keep in mind, we can't touch all the objects because there are certain objects with extremely high temperatures as well as there are certain materials with extremely low temperatures. But it is not that much accurate. Though we can touch, we can't express that value of the temperature numerically. And also, do you know that there are certain materials with extremely high temperature as well as certain materials with extremely low temperature. So by touching a certain object is not that much correct. So it is very important to measure the temperature. Do you know that the scientist Galileo Galilei discovered and introduced another device used to measure the temperature? Do you know what is the instrument used to measure the temperature of an object? Oh, that is called as thermometer. There are various types of thermometers. We use these thermometers for different purposes. As you know, there are different thermometers like soil thermometer, mercury thermometer, glass thermometer, likewise. So, I'm going to show you some of the common thermometers that we use in our day-to-day life. This is called a digital thermometer. You can see the temperature reading can be directly found using the numerical value. This is a clinical thermometer. The clinical thermometer is used by doctors, nurses to measure the temperature of patients. This is a glass mercury thermometer. This consists of bulb containing mercury and also a capillary tube as well as outer glass covering. It is calibrated in the outer covering. This is called a glass alcohol thermometer. Here, instead of the mercury, red colored or colored alcohol is used in the bulb. So this is also used to measure the temperature of day-to-day requirements. But keep in mind, though there are various thermometers in grade 11 science syllabus, we focus only glass mercury thermometer as well as glass alcohol thermometer. Right, there are three temperature scales that we widely use to measure the temperature of objects. What are they? I think you have heard this earlier. What are they? First one, Celsius scale, Fahrenheit scale and Kelvin scale. Now, although there are three scales, as the standard international unit, we use Kelvin for measuring temperature. Let's learn the difference between Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. You know, the Celsius scale was introduced by scientist Anders Celsius, while Fahrenheit scale was introduced by scientist Gabriel Fahrenheit. Do you know that? When creating these two scales, they have used two fixed points. First of all, I would like to talk you about Celsius scales. When preparing the Celsius scale, Anders Celsius used two fixed points. We call these two fixed points as the minimum fixed point as 0, 100 degrees of Celsius as the maximum fixed point. So how did he create these two fixed points? Celsius scale has been found by taking the temperature at which pure ice melts into liquid water under the pressure of 1 atmospheric pressure as 0 temperature, and also the temperature at which water vaporizes into steam under the same pressure as taken as 100 degrees of Celsius. These two temperatures have been chosen for Celsius scale as maximum fixed point and minimum fixed point. After that, this is divided into 100 equal divisions. When talking about Fahrenheit scale, the Fahrenheit scale was introduced by Gabriel Fahrenheit. He also used the same example, same instance for selecting the maximum fixed point as well as minimum fixed point. In Fahrenheit scale, the melting point of ice is taken as the 32 degrees of Fahrenheit, while the boiling point of water is taken as the 212 degrees of Fahrenheit. Here, he has divided these two fixed points into 180 equal divisions. Though the melting point of ice is used as 0 degrees of Celsius in the Celsius scale, Fahrenheit used it as 32 degrees of Fahrenheit. Similarly, though the 100 degrees of Celsius is used as the boiling point of water in Celsius scale, Fahrenheit used 212 degrees of Fahrenheit as the boiling point of water. Here you will understand that these divisions are not same. Here he has divided into 100 divisions. Fahrenheit has divided his scale into 180 divisions. Do you know, my dear children, the 0 values of both Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale have been chosen according to the wishes of these scientists. That is not scientifically correct. Why? Because the Celsius thought that 0 degree is equal to the melting point of ice, and Fahrenheit thought that 32 degrees of Fahrenheit is equal to the melting point of ice. That is because of their visions. That is not scientifically correct. Later, the British scientist called Lord Kelvin, he was called as Lord Kelvin because he was knighted by the Queen. As a result, he later introduced another important scale for measuring the temperature, which is called as Kelvin scale. You know, Kelvin introduced that there should be a minimum temperature that an object can reach. Why is that? As we learned earlier, you can remember temperature is the mean kinetic energy of the particles that object contains. So, when the kinetic energy of particles becomes zero of a certain object, the temperature of that object should be zero according to the Kelvin scale. Kelvin said that the minimum temperature that an object can reach when the kinetic energy of particles becomes zero is as 0 Kelvin. It is similar to minus 273.15 degrees of Celsius. Then it is also called as absolute zero. Let's learn how to convert Celsius value into a Kelvin value, because in our O-level exams we have to convert Celsius values into Kelvin and Kelvin values into Celsius. So first of all, we can draw attention to how to convert Celsius value into Kelvin. So this is the formula. So Celsius value plus 273, then we will be able to get the answer in Kelvin, right? So an example is given here. Convert 87 degrees of Celsius into Kelvin. How to convert that? First we write 87 degrees of Celsius and we have to add 273. The answer will be 360 Kelvin. Now, then we are going to convert Kelvin value into Celsius. So, how to convert Kelvin value into Celsius? So, this is the formula that we can use. Kelvin minus 273 equal Celsius value. For example, convert 400 Kelvin into Celsius. How to solve this? So first we write 400 Kelvin and subtract 273. The answer will be 127 degrees of Celsius. Now you can answer these questions and mention your answers in the comment sections below. This is the end of our lesson. Today we learn about temperature scales and the instruments to measure temperature. So I hope that you have studied all those things well. But if you have any doubt, please don't forget to mention and reply me. So I promise you to answer for all your questions. And also, if you want to watch this kind of videos, don't forget to subscribe our channel Science Plus Live, and also please click on the bell icon. Then you will get notifications about the coming up videos. See you